Hey there, welcome back to Tennille Talks. So I'm back outside. I'm not in the tent, but I'm probably going to be in the tent for one of the next two readings that I'm going to do with y'all. All right, so the first card that comes out to begin this reading for me was Shift. Now, typically I don't read reversals, and so when the Shift card came out, it came out reversed. And so that tells me that there is some type of resistance to this shift. Listen, when the energy shifts, it is bigger than us as humans. There's nothing we can do to stop it, nothing we can do to control it. But this tells me that there is resistance from some of the energies in this reading. And so the shift may bring something positive for some of us, but for others, it is going to be very negative. Now, we are coming out in two different ways. You're coming out in the energy as the star. And so in tarot, the star card comes after the tower card. And so the tower is essentially dealing with some type of destruction, devastation, something falling down, thinking about building something and then watching it crumble. In order to go out and to build it again, there is a level of faith and hope that you have to have within you to even know that it's possible to rebuild. Now, you weren't really supposed to develop hope. You weren't supposed to have faith that whatever was destroyed could be rebuilt. What is attached to you in the star energy is essentially a closed door, meaning you were always supposed to believe, think, and feel that a door was going to stay closed, right? When we're talking about a door being closed, that's no new opportunities, no job opportunities, no relationship opportunities. That's the energy, right? And so whatever hope that you were supposed to have, you were supposed to be living in disappointment. And it was almost like being in this cycle of continuously having to start over again and again and again. I think about little kids building block towers, right? There's always those kids who are super focused and they build their tower of blocks and then somebody else comes and knocks it down, right? And so imagine if that is you. You've been building again and again and again in your life, but it's like there's always something outside of you. There's like a hidden hand or some kind of force that interferes and knocks down whatever it is that you're attempting to create. And so the idea is that you were supposed to stay stuck in some type of energy that was dull and lethargic. You know, you were just supposed to be somber and not have any oomph inside of you to try again, to hope again. Well, that is what the shift is bringing, right? And so whatever was done to you, you were supposed to be broken beyond repair. Now you're coming out not only as the star, but you're attached to ancient wisdom. To carry ancient wisdom, love and money should not escape you unless supernaturally there is some type of nefarious influence, which we do have in this reading. And so this shift is going to impact your second house. Your second house is the house of Taurus. This is the house of I have. When we're talking about the things that you have, we're talking about your personal resources. And so this is, I have money, I have possessions, I have income, I have assets, I have skills, I have values. That is the house that was knocked down again and again and again, hoping that you would forever remain without enough drive, power, or energy to attempt to build your tower again, right? And so it is in the process where maybe you didn't have access to finances and resources. All of that was teaching you resilience. Well, if I don't have access, if my second house has essentially been hijacked and robbed, what do I have? What am I? Where can I gain my wealth from? Where is the wealth that is stored inside of me, right? And so it is in these seasons where for a period of time, like people can steal our shit. And as long as they're walking around with your shit, you're supposed to recognize that, like, as long as you're breathing, there's still something of value that you possess. And so that is how you gain resilience. This is how you learn to thrive, even when conditions are harsh. You start to rely on yourself. There are things inside of you that you pull up, you discover, and you find, and you may not have had to go as deep if everything was working the way it was supposed to work per you, right? And so this shift is bringing in an increase in your second house, your assets, your personal resources. You've learned that you are very resilient to the point that resilience has become a superpower of yours, right? And so when your second house is being restored, it's not necessarily that you have been longing for this. Like, you've learned how to be stable. You've learned how to be in harmony with life, even though you may have had seasons where you've had very little, right? And so right now you can you can anticipate a very harmonious, stable, and fruitful experience with your second house, the house of Taurus. Now, this was not supposed to happen for you. Now, you carry ancient wisdom, but whatever was supernaturally done to you, it was supposed to get you to the point where you're like, yo, I can't fix myself. I'm broken. It's literally the energy of Humpty Dumpty, right? You can't fix them. You can't fix them, and that would be the person that had a hand in breaking you. Like, that would have been their goal. Break them to the point where they cannot be fixed, right? But the shift is looking like something totally different. And so your second house is about to blow up. But at the same time, we have a group of people who are coming out as lovers. Lovers is pretty much anybody you share a soul connection with. So this could be family, friends, intimate people that you've had relationships with. Anybody that had a hand in making sure that your tower of blocks was continuously knocked down, anybody that benefited off of you not having access to your personal resources, and anybody that was able to kind of live in or live off of your ancient wisdom. These people are in the energy of like biting their nails and staring at the clock, because they recognize that there's not enough time to recover what it is that they're about to lose. Like, there's nothing they can do to you in order to make you surrender or relinquish what is rightfully yours. Now, in the same spot for my most recent reading about the flying love monkey, we have the energy of transmute. And so that reading was talking about how when energy is negatively thrown at you, you can take it and go build some beautiful shit, right? But what the reading didn't talk about was how that impacts those that are actually throwing darkness at you. So this reading is about them, right? When you are transmuting, well, what is happening to the people that aren't really successfully getting back what they want because you are in control? So these people, lovers, right? So these are people that you may have had love for. This is family, right? These people were promised something. They were assured that something would be successful. But right now, as they watch the clock, as they watch you, and as they observe the nature of just the life and their climate, they know that this is game over. And they're concerned because there's no more time left. These are people that were moving very impulsively, right? They wanted something, but it's like they didn't have the long-term vision. They didn't have the foresight to consider, like, well, what happens if it doesn't go our way, right? These are people that were just looking for treasure. They were looking for beauty. They were looking for charms. You are treasure, you are beauty, and you are a charm. And so you were almost like the perfect candidate to be able to rob. And so these are people that moved very impulsively, very immaturely, and they were expecting and hoping for every move that they make to kind of give them a return, right? You are an investment. And for a period of time, you were a very good investment. You weren't necessarily supposed to wake up out of your slumber, but somebody is hesitant, somebody is worried because you don't look like what you were supposed to look like. If you were supposed to be broken, you're not necessarily broken anymore. And so we have the energy of this professional. This is kind of like the jack of all trades, somebody who can do a little bit of everything. And so that is the energy that you're walking around in. It's almost like you're getting your magic back. You're getting your skills back, your speech, your thoughts, your emotions, like everything is quickening and you're returning to your normal or natural state of being. Now, in the center of the reading, I have somebody in the hermit energy. Now, when we talk about being in our hermit area, first of all, this could be a Virgo. It's the hermit card that connects to Virgo. But when we're talking about the hermit energy, the hermit phase is, I've heard this one time, long time ago, I watched a tarot reading, and the reader was describing that the hermit is the emperor that lost it all. And so you have this emperor who rules this kingdom, and they're a leader, they have authority, they have power, but they also have like wealth and abundance. Well, as a result of the ego, the emperor loses their wealth, their abundance, they lose their kingdom. And so they're forced to move into the hermit era in order to do the shadow work to try to figure out like why they allowed their ego to like override their heart, right? And so sometimes when you have a struggle within you, it is going to manifest in a struggle in your outer world. And so the hermit typically, I just thought that was a really cute story. I don't know if it's totally true, but it has stuck with me, right? And so this is somebody, the hermit era is somebody that is supposed to go within in order to do shadow work, in order to find out, why did this happen? Why did this go wrong, right? But sometimes when we are in isolation, when we are in our hermit area, we're really supposed to be learning and understanding aspects of our soul. But there are some times where we go to hermit and we actually are blaming people, right? So this is like the emperor who had a big ego. He loses his kingdom and like all he can do is blame everybody else for the reason why it's lost. That would be like a really crappy way to use your hermit era. So there's somebody in the hermit energy that is possibly in isolation, that is like stewing over what has happened. This person is watching their surroundings, and so they see this shift, although they are they are resistant to the shift, but they see it happening and they know that they have to trust their gut. Now, the outcome of you expanding and gaining your wealth back, that was not expected. This hermit was expecting to receive a gift. And so listen, for you to have ancient wisdom, you're also supposed to have wealth and real love, right? And so for a period of time, you could have gone through cycles of relationships where it was like lesson after lesson after lesson, right? But that was because somebody had manipulated something about your story. Every time you tried to build something beautiful, somebody knocks it down, right? And the idea is if they knock it down 8 times, they don't want you to get up on number 9. They want you to stay down. But if you're a star, you're supposed to rise. Like the cream always rises. And so there are a lot of people who don't carry star power who are attempting to manipulate the trajectory of your life and your soul story. And so this shift is going to be a shift of balance. And so anybody that has been able to benefit off of your wealth, whether it be love or resources, it's almost like, listen, all of that is really coming back to you, but it's like here now, like it is actually here. Taurus, the dates April 21st through May 20th is like the official Taurus season. Taurus is all about sustaining stability. So for a while, maybe you had like a year or a few months in your life where you could sustain your stability. But then again, there's always the outer interference, right? There's somebody else messing with that. But you have been able to transmute so much so that your ancestors, the Northern Lights, recognize that like you are ready, like it is time. There's nothing that can be taken from you. There's nothing that can be knocked down. Can you imagine when you're finally at the moment to receive your ancestral wisdom and wealth? Somebody is sick, somebody is ill. Like it really is making somebody or a bunch of somebody's sad and disgusted that you have gotten to this point. But the only people that can be sad are people that benefited off of you being down and out. Now in this reading, we've got the Hermit, we've got the Divine Masculine, we've got the Queen of Cups and the Star. Now the Queen of Cups in this reading, you know, typically the Queen of Cups is like the sweetheart, compassionate, emotionally intelligent, very psychic and intuitive. But in this reading, I'm really sensing that this is somebody that misused their psychic gifts or psychic abilities. And I don't even think that the gifts and the abilities they had were theirs to begin with. I believe that this is somebody that had the ability to walk around on your energy. It says lotus eyes. And so sometimes like the enlightenment, the cosmic energy that you carry within, your ability to connect to your third eye and to perceive on a deeper level, like not everybody can do that. And so there's a Queen of Cups energy who's been walking around with those type of abilities that are not naturally for them. A death is coming. Either they're losing the lotus eyes that were never theirs to begin with, or a Queen of Cups. Now, I'll finish. Or there's a Queen of Cups that is actually physically going to experience a death. And so there are a lot of players in this game. And there is fear, there is fright, there is worry, and there is loss. But none of that is attached to you. You're stable, you're smiling, you're harmonious, which is why everybody knows that this is a very bad day for them. And so again, what is shifting for you is beautiful, but it is very dark for others. Now, the Divine Masculine does come out in this reading. The Divine Masculine is coming out being connected to the Queen of Cups. And so in some of my personal readings, and even in some of the readings that I watch, I often hear about a couple. a couple. This is like a two-man team. Maybe they can be husband and wife, but it's typically a man and a woman. And sometimes the man goes out and they are, scavenging around for divine energy, for star power, for ancient wisdom. And whatever the man is able to go and collect, you bring it home, and then the woman can package and use the energy like any way possible. And so if there was a partnership, if there was a divine masculine, somebody that had the ability to be divine or walk in their divinity, but instead they moved in a very distorted way, this person is frightened. And they are frightened because the Queen of Cups that they were possibly attached to is going through a death. There is an ending in the partnership, right? And so if you have two criminals that committed a crime together and one of the criminals has died, the other one is like, oh shit, when is it my turn? And so this is the energy of like somebody being paranoid, somebody being depressed and frightened. Now, to mask that energy, they're coming up as somebody who just doesn't care. They seem emotionally detached, but that's really a front. Like this person is terrified about what could happen to them because they've already seen what has happened to the person that they are connected to. Now, the suffering that this divine masculine is going through, it connects to noble truth number 3. So this truth says that suffering can be overcome. So like this would be the message for the divine masculine or the distorted masculine. Suffering can be overcome. And the way you overcome suffering is by way of the eightfold path. That means you must be free from desires. When you are free from desires, you can attain a state of nirvana. Nirvana is being your pure self. When you are your pure self, you are in perfect alignment with your divine life, right? And so this is somebody who was not in perfect alignment with their divine life. They had a lot of desires. They had a lot of urgings and they needed a lot of materialistic pleasure from the outside world. And wherever that hunt for them, right? When I think about like being a hunter and a gatherer, that typically was the role of the masculine. And yeah, some people hunt and gather livestock or food or berries, but this is the type of energy where they have been hunting for stars that are carrying ancient wisdom. But this shift means that, the hunt is over. Not only do you have to give back what you stole, right? This Queen of Cups has lost her lotus eyes that didn't belong to her in the beginning. They weren't hers to begin with, right? And so this is somebody living off of your energy, right? This person, the Queen of Cups, is dead. We're just going to say they're dead. And what I'm saying, I mean psychically, intuitively, spiritually. This vessel is totally empty. And it's almost like this masculine knows that they are up next, even if they're not showing it on their face, even if they're not communicating it out loud, like they know they are next. And so everybody is watching this clock because they thought that they were promised a certain life. And because you've been transmuting like a wild beast, right, per your ancestors, because you don't do this alone. I also have the energy of a guardian angel. Like there's no way that you can carry ancient wisdom and sacred knowledge or have sacred vision and not have like protection, And so a lot of times when people see you alone, they really believe you're alone. But the fact that you haven't fallen, the fact that even though they knocked down your tower and you keep rebuilding it, you were not supposed to be fixed. You were not supposed to be broken. And so they thought that you being down and out was really a sure thing. Now, the energy of the hermit that's in the middle of this reading, the message attached to them is, listen, your prayers are useless. Like the divine has intervened. There's no body bigger or greater than source itself, right? And so this person is still praying that they receive a gift, even though the gift that they are praying for was stolen. The same person that is praying to receive this gift is the same person that is coming out as being eye to eye with the demons within. This is somebody who's been... This is what I'm saying about being in the hermit era. When you go inside to deal with your darkness, some people are just captivated by the demons that they carry. And so the demons essentially send them out on these missions. And these missions are only going to end one way. But this is somebody that is really thick-headed, but I almost see this as an illness. I see this as an illness, a mental illness. Because it's like they no longer have control of their mind. I don't think they've had control of their mind for a very long time. Now, this is someone who uses voodoo. And the idea is that when they use this voodoo, Now, they were already eye to eye with their demons within, but it's almost like they planted a seed. They planted like an origin that would be put inside of you, that would give you the loss, that would give you the grief and the sorrow, right? And so the seed that they planted, they thought that it would sprout in you, but it did not sprout in you because of the way you transmute. And so this is like the greatest backfire of these people's lives, the people that are coming out as lovers. They don't have time, they don't have resources. Everything they were expecting, everything they were hoping for is not being returned to them. And literally above their head is the northern lights, the ancestors. Like, it is time to be accountable. It is time to give back anything that you thought that you successfully stole. You were coming up as somebody who was protected, right? And so all the while, all this is happening around you, what is protected is your ability to shine, right? And so nothing that they stole, nothing took away the characteristics of you. If you're a star, you're going to be a star. You don't need to have assets and resources to be a star. Yes, it's great to have them, right? But when situations like this happen, it doesn't necessarily strip you of your power, right? And so there is a level of protection that you always had around you, but maybe these people thought that because they were successfully stealing, that they thought that they took it all from you, right? And so this is the moment where they're like, oh my God, like, you were never supposed to have a new journey. You were never supposed to find the way of your soul. You were not supposed to start again. And so everything that they thought they broke, everything that they thought was beyond repair for you, it's like in the process of unfolding. Like, you were untouchable. Like, they could touch up to a certain point, but now they're realizing that we really didn't do the damage that we thought they did, right? And so they're concerned. They're looking at the clock because they understand what this means. If you have been eating all of the energy that they have been sending you successfully and using it to rebuild, what is going to happen when this shift takes place, right? And so you've got a divine masculine who was lusting after the material world, right? Has no idea how to be in perfect alignment with their divine life. You've got the Queen of Cups who is experiencing some type of death. Maybe they had access to your lotus eyes or your vision by way of stealing psychic gifts or psychic energy, right? And then you've got this hermit who is praying and praying and praying. But this is the season of judgment, right? And some things cannot be forgiven, meaning you got to atone, you got to pay, right? You can pray all you want to, but you still have to rectify. Like, you can't just pray and think that you won't. No, you have to feel the wrath of what you've done, right? And so these are like adults, but childlike. They think that, oh, if I made a mistake, I can just say I'm sorry and that's it. Absolutely not. Because everything you endured, it was very real. And the intentions that they set for you were actually very real. And so the same energy that you just survived and thrived through, they are going to have to do it. But the problem is they don't have the protection. You have the protection and you have the support of ancestral guidance. They don't have access to that. And so being able to make it through what you just went through, and listen, what you went through, you didn't cause. You didn't go through that because you did that to somebody else. That was just done to you. And so the level of karma that they are walking in, not only did they do it to you, right? So they have to live with what they did to you, but all of the energy that they kept sending on top of that, there's only that's all that you can get back. You can always only get back what you put out. These people can't transmute. These people can't transmute. That's why they were stealing, right? If they could transmute, then they never would have had to have done this to you anyway. When we're talking about transmuting, we're talking about transmuting pain and darkness and trauma and tragedy, right? It's being able to take the worst and somehow make it into something meaningful. These people, the people that do these type of things, these people just like you, they go through terrible experiences, but they don't know what to do with it. And so it lives inside of them in darkness. It creates all these emotions that they don't know how to sort through, and this is what leads to the shadow. Well, the shadow side of them, if they don't touch it, if they don't heal their shadow, if they don't work through their emotions, then the shadow becomes a home for demons to dwell in. Once the demons take up residence inside of your vessel, they can guide your mind, your body, they can move you any way you want. That didn't happen to you because you were transmuting, but you carry ancient wisdom, right? And so your soul always knew knew that it would have to go through this type of story, and it always knew that the outcome of this would be for you to gain control over your second house again. And so it seems like the person that is kind of trapped in prayer, the person that is just praying, they're praying to receive what it is that they wanted. Can you imagine praying to receive the gift that you know was stolen? Like, how do you even ask the Most High to give you something that was like, it's psychosis. It is psychosis. But if demons have been dwelling in you for decades at a time, it makes sense that you would lose all logic and all rationale. And so what is promised to you is going to make its way to you. And these people have been almost moving blindly, not knowing that you were transmuting the way you were transmuting. And so, yeah, a seed was planted and it didn't grow. It didn't grow in your garden. The same seed that they planted in yours, that they were hoping that you would be eye to eye with the demons within, it is now growing inside of their space. It's growing in their garden. And so here you are, you've got this lush, you've got these beautiful flowers, everything is landscaped and beautiful, and that was not supposed to be the outcome for you. And so listen, I don't know how this is going to unfold. Taurus comes up twice, and I talked about the dates of Taurus season. So maybe during that season is when the shift is going to be like truly clear and evident for all to see. But what's coming to you is coming to you, and you've had to be resilient. You've had to adapt. You've had to be flexible. You've had to have you had to learn how to have just a little bit, but to take that little and to make it go a long way. Those days are over. Those weeks, those months, those years of living with less and somehow turning less into more, that is not really going to be attached to your story. You are a star who is carrying ancient wisdom. Your ancient wisdom not only gives you financial abundance and affluence, but it gives you the possibility to connect to people where you get to experience and live in real love. These were the things that were taken or distorted, right? And so that is this reading. There is worry, there is fear, fright, paranoia. People are sick. They know that this shift is bringing a literal death for some, but it is bringing an ending. And so these people are watching. And now they have to trust their gut, right? Because now they can feel their intuition. And this is what they were cut off from because they were living in their mind. They were allowing their ego or their shadow to rule. But it's like now these people are trying to tap into something deeper because they understand that, listen, the voodoo didn't work because you were protected. In the voodoo card, it has someone holding a voodoo doll. Y'all, listen, I heard a read. No, I'm not gonna go there. So yes, the shift is beautiful for you. And it really is a testament to your ability to take the worst and somehow make it beautiful. So congratulations. And for some of us, maybe we're experiencing it now. But for Taurus to come out twice, maybe we can definitely see, sense, and feel this energy when we get to spring. All right, y'all. Love you. Bye.